Hi guys, my name is Chef Kedia. I'm from Mumbai. I'm 23 years old. I have studied BSc Economics Honors. I have worked with a couple of chefs. This is my 7th year of working as a food evangelist, as a chef, as someone who's into food. My specialization is particularly in diabetes and food, which is why the name A Diabetic Chef. We started our journey back in 2013 when I was roughly, I think, 15 years old or 16 years old. And it has been a very long time since then. It always intrigued me what's happening inside the kitchen with my mother, my aunts, my grandmother, my helps. What are they exactly cooking? What is brewing in the kitchen? And that inquisitivity sort of drew me towards the kitchen more than I could have been on the playground. And I tried to understand better each day. How could I become someone who is going to belong to the kitchen and be a part of it? Alongside with little experiments and baby steps in the kitchen when I was about 8, 9 years old, further to when I was 14, 15, when I was diagnosed with diabetes. It became an amalgamation of understanding of how I could use my culinary ability with my diabetes to make a greater impact on my own body, how I could make my own food, and how I could just put it out there and sort of ensure that I could cook a meal for myself and not feel left out from the lot of the students, from a lot of my friends and peers who were consuming whatever they wanted outside of school, outside of their houses. And that did get me driven towards the kitchen, and there was a lot of perseverance and there was a lot of pressure around that I did feel that was put on myself, that I had brought upon myself to make myself healthier and a better individual, a better human. While the inspiration for my culinary journey is very varied, from watching TV shows to reading books, there have been a lot of contributions that have been made by different individuals, fictional and non-fictional. For instance, Saransh Goela is one of the most looked up chefs for my life because I have met him about good 8-10 years back at a mall while he was giving a demonstration class. I've seen him on food through the journey in India when he was just doing the whole Sadak Chef. I found my inspiration in films like Julie and Julia. I've adapted a lot of understanding of your love towards your food and romancing what you consume from films like Ratatouille. There's been a lot out there. The books of Tarla Dalal, the love that Sanjeev Kapoor puts in his food, and how he has created this whole franchise around him being the Sanjeev Kapoor. A lot of this has pulled me towards that whole idea of taking this profession slash business very seriously. Also, I'd like to add that my mother's been diabetic for about 15 years or so since I have known. And her condition also sort of inclined me towards working towards it and making some changes in my food lifestyle and creating certain desserts for diabetics. And a lot of interaction with people has sort of put me through as an inspiration. My own body, my own issues of my health have put me through this entire journey to come through and make it. While all of us have different struggles that we go through as individuals, I feel that as an entrepreneur, there are more than a certain number of problems that you can face. First and foremost would be capital inflow. And rather much before that would be convincing your family about the idea that you want to venture into entrepreneurship and how you want to do your own startup. It is extremely difficult to put yourself out there in front of your family and try to convince them. So a personal problem that I sort of faced was trying to speak to my family and get this whole narrative out there to them and tell them that, hey, listen, now I need to take up an unconventional career path and I'm going to get into entrepreneurship, something unheard of in the diabetes food space. And I think I started blogging and stuff back in 2013. It's been about 8 years now. It's been a very long journey, to be very honest. So yeah, getting my parents to understand the idea of it, let alone the entire world, and that was a personal slash professional problem that came in. Another risk and professional hazard that came through was convincing people to buy your products, especially when they don't exist. So when there's no such product that exists in the market, it becomes even more difficult for people to understand what you are selling and further into what is the price point. Why should someone buy your product over what's existing? So that creation of a new product segment altogether was another professional issue as such that was there. But I'm glad that we have advanced as a society. We have gotten better in terms of understanding and awareness, especially in 2020 throughout the pandemic. We've become more informed, more aware of health as a whole, and how quitting sugar is beneficial, how veganism is really going to help, and it is the need of the hour, and how people do not require artificial forms of dairy in their system. So yeah, like pretty much it. There's a lot of things that do help you shape up as an individual and as a professional. There are a lot of hindrances that you will face as an entrepreneur, as a startup in your personal lives. One of the major instances was a face-off with my family about having to choose between wanting to continue my startup journey or take up other things of, say, a family business. And that was a little difficult call. It was a lot of convincing, a lot of fight, a lot of go back and forth. But it did come through. And after 6 years or so of convincing, speaking to them, trying to make them understand, it has sort of come through. And here we are. So yes, that's it from a diabetic chef in Kedia.